Let's take a moment real quick to look at who wrote the book of Isaiah. The traditional view is that a single man named Isaiah, son of Amoz, wrote the whole book. This is also the view taken by the New Testament authors, who quoted from all parts of the book and referenced the author as Isaiah. However, in the last 200 years, skeptical revisionist scholars have claimed that chapters 1 through 39 could not have been written by the same person who wrote chapters 40 through 66, because the earlier chapters have details of the Assyrian conquests around 720 BC, but later chapters talk about returning from captivity in Babylon in the 500s BC and about King Cyrus of Persia, who later conquered Babylon. They claim that such predictive prophecy is impossible because they don't believe that God exists or that he can provide this information to prophets. They say that whoever wrote chapters 40 through 66 was living in Babylon during the time of the exile, and some have even suggested up to 5 different authors for the book of Isaiah. However, I think there's evidence that there is a single author. I'll be citing quite a bit of information from Craig Davis's excellent articles at datingtheoldtestament.com, and he gets it from other people. First, both parts of the book of Isaiah talk about mountains, especially in chapter 40 and 41. Chapter 40, verse 16 mentions Israel's neighbor Lebanon. Chapter 41, verse 19 lists a lot of trees that are native to Israel. So all this geographical information fits better in Israel rather than Babylon. Since Babylon was a flat area, Israel actually does have mountains. In chapter 43, verse 14, the author relates God as saying that he is sent to Babylon, which makes more sense, again, if the people were not yet in Babylon. And then in the first part of the book, chapters 7 and 8, Isaiah's children were given names that relate to the coming Babylonian captivity, further linking the two parts of the book. There's quite a few references in the second half to temple sacrifices and also polemical arguments against Canaanite idolatry, which would not make sense if that part were written during the time of the Babylonian exile. See the article for details. Another point is that there are quite a few literary style elements, repeated words in the same sentence, using perfect tense verbs for future events. And this style is the same across both halves of the book, kind of a little bit unique to Isaiah. And Isaiah also uses many rare Hebrew words in both halves of the book. They tend to be the older Hebrew style, along with Micah, which I believe was at the same time. And Isaiah also uses some rare names for God, like Holy One of Israel, the Maker, Creator, Rock, and others. Some parts of Isaiah seem to be borrowed by other pre-exilic prophets, such as Isaiah 47, verse 8, borrowed by Zephaniah, and Isaiah 52, verse 7, borrowed by Nahum. Isaiah 2:4 is also borrowed by Joel, chapter 3, verse 10, showing that all of Isaiah was written before the Babylonian exile. Isaiah also alludes in the second half to specific phrases from the first half many times with deliberate modification to make a point, and scholars call this thesis and antithesis. Here are a few examples showing that the two halves of Isaiah were carefully compiled together as a united book of prophecy. See the supplement link for more details. What about the historical chapters, 36 through 39 in Isaiah, which correspond to 2 Kings 19? Is there any evidence that these biblical accounts are accurate? Yes, indeed. Archaeologists were excavating in the king's palace in Nineveh, the ancient capital of the Assyrian Empire, and they found an entire room whose walls were covered in carvings about the capture of Lachish, the Judean city mentioned here in Isaiah and in 2 Kings. It was the second largest fortified city in Judah. So why did Sennacherib's historians celebrate the capture of the second largest city rather than Jerusalem, the largest city and capital city? Well, the archaeologists found this clay prism called the Taylor Prism or Sennacherib Prism. It has a written account of Sennacherib's campaigns and the cities and kings he captured and how much booty he got from each city. And you can read it at the supplemental links provided in the supplement. But when it comes to Jerusalem, it lists King Hezekiah, just like the Bible does. But then it just says that Sennacherib shut up Hezekiah in Jerusalem like a bird shut up in a cage. That's it. No conquered city, no spoils captured, other than the tribute that Hezekiah gave, which the same number is listed, 30 talents, I believe, of gold. And no reason given for the failure to conquer the city. Of course, the Bible gives the reason. The angel of God went out and killed 185,000 of Sennacherib's men in one night. Two other ancient historians, Herodotus and Josephus, both mention rumors of a sudden one-night plague on the army, although they differ on the details. The mention by Isaiah of this other Cushite king named Tirhakah, who was attacking Nineveh, had also been corroborated by excavations in Africa. For many years, many decades, scholars did not know who this person was, Tirhaka, the Kushite king, because he was not mentioned in other ancient literature. But recent excavations have found and corroborated what the Bible says about this. So the book of Isaiah is strongly corroborated by archaeology and history, in addition to having a lot of beautiful poetry and prophecy. I'll link in the supplement to several articles and videos about these topics so you can learn more. And now let's head over and learn more about the themes